Good evening and welcome back to Sctv, Simpson College's first student-run newscast. As always, I'm Jake Brent.
And I'm Liv Allen. It's great to be with you all.
Liv, if you've thought that it's been colder than usual this winter, it's probably because it is.
That's right. According to KCCI, the average temperature in January has been 17.8 degrees, which is the coldest January in Iowa since 2011.
On top of that, the Des Moines Metro has accumulated over 20 inches of snow in 2022 alone.
The conditions of winter can make the season long and dreadful, and it certainly leaves its effects on students. Jake has the story on winter at Simpson.
Despite a temperate December, winter is in full swing with a snowy and freezing cold January in Iowa. Even though it's a part of living in Iowa, it still alters the Simpson experience.
Compared to in the fall, definitely less stuff going on outside with friends, whether that's playing spike ball, playing basketball out here on the court, anything like that. Makes it harder trying to walk to Kent, other places like that, because you have to factor in that it's cold out.
During the winter months, everyone's a lot more isolated and to themselves and just reserved. You don't see a lot of people out on campus as much as the spring or the fall, and it's just kind of empty.
As if going to class wasn't already a challenge in itself for students, factoring in conditions like this adds just another obstacle in getting to the classroom.
I take into consideration if my friends have canceled class or if their professors have, and then I'm just well, mine hasn't, and it's already still cold out and I don't want to walk to class, so I'll just hang out with my friends or something like that.
There's some mornings where I wake up and it's -8, and it's I don't feel that class is necessary in this cold weather. So I definitely think it has taken away a lot of my motivation at points.
You can't park close to any of the academic buildings. You have to walk everywhere, and it's just super frustrating. So I just end up not going to class sometimes a lot during the winter because I don't want to walk in the cold.
You stack the coldness of the snow on top of that, it's definitely going to make it not as likely for me to go to class, just because it gives me an extra excuse not to.
Even with the obvious negatives, winter doesn't come without its fun.
I absolutely love sledding. It's one of my favorite things to do. I carry sleds with me almost all year, waiting for a good chance to go sledding. So that is definitely my favorite wintertime activity.
My roommate, Cubby, it was his first time seeing snow, and he was just amazed by it. So just kind of seeing those things and being I've seen it before, but this is new to you, so it makes me excited.
Campus can actually be really pretty when it snows, especially when it's first snow and it's all fresh snow. I think that campus is very, very pretty at that time.
There is good news for Simpson students. Spring is hopefully just around the corner. For SCTV, Jake Brent.
It seems like clockwork at this point, but Spencer Moon broke another school record. Moon broke his own record in the 3,000-meter run, finishing 4th behind runners at the University of Iowa and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Those are D1 schools.
Very impressive, Jake. Sophomore James Murray also broke a school record at the Prairie Wolf Invitational in the 1,000-meter run. Murray surpassed Dave Halferty, who set the record all the way back in 1990.
Very impressive stuff from the track and field team. If I had to guess, we'll mention some more broken records as the season goes on.
The women's basketball team is also setting records as they sit alone atop the ARC with an undefeated 7-0 record.
They were in action on Saturday against Co in a rematch of the 2021 Conference Championship game. First half, Reagan Freeland catches on the low block and puts up a baby hook that falls. The sophomore had 15 points. Conference leader in assists Kaya Rasmussen skips it to Anna Wanek. She runs in with the floater. Wanek now takes it from Kincaid and fires the three. Bang! Wanek led all scorers with 20. Now Kincaid finishes in transition, and it was all Storm on Saturday. Hattie Rhodes finds Conference Player of the Year Jenna Taylor in the post for a fadeaway. She had 15 points also, and Cassie Nash gets the Euro step, the bucket, and the foul. Storm roll, 89-53. The men played after taking on the Co-Hawks first half. Tajan Ross making his Simpson debut with the nice pull-up. He had a good day in his first time in the red and white. Caden Remeyer, the freshman, got to start again, goes into the paint, spins, and makes a nice finish. Storm competed well in the first half as Coach B given a word to his players. Senior Chris Hans heads into the paint, charges to the left, and goes up strong. The senior tallied 9 points on the day. Senior Deontay Johnson with a pretty spin move. He's fired up. Storm are starting to come back, but there wasn't too much of it. We go back to Ross. He crosses over, drives into the paint, spins, puts it up, got the foul and the bucket. He had 22 in his debut. Now freshman Jack Hutchinson with the nice teardrop, but it wasn't enough. Storm fall 84-62. On Sunday, 42.7 million people tuned in to watch the AFC divisional game between the Chiefs and the Bills. It was the most watched divisional game in over 5 years, and it was arguably the best football game ever played. If not, it's unarguably one of the 5 best NFL games of all time. The game included 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the league, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Those 2 combined for 707 yards of passing, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they both led their teams in rushing. This was just a glimpse of what the future of the sport looks like, showing that it's in really good hands. With about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Kansas City led 26-21, and Allen took the Bills down the field on a 7-minute, 17-play drive that went 75 yards for a Buffalo touchdown to put them in front. But with 2 minutes still on the clock, the Chiefs went 75 yards in less than a minute and retook the lead on a Tyreek Hill touchdown. The Bills got another chance. This time there was only a minute left, and Allen led them down the field and gathered the lead with just 13 seconds left in the game. The Chiefs, down 3, somehow managed to send the game into overtime. In the last 2 minutes, 25 points were scored. It was the craziest end to a game ever. But here's the controversy. The coin flip. What? The coin flip? Yeah, the coin flip is what determined who got the ball in overtime, and it's seemingly what decided the outcome of the game. The NFL's overtime rules state that if the team who gets the ball first scores a touchdown, it's ball game. Sure enough, the Chiefs got the ball and drove down the field to win the game and stay alive to go to the AFC Championship. After Josh Allen played one of the best games we've ever seen, he didn't even get a chance in overtime. He had to watch from the sidelines. In my opinion, that rule needs to change. Now, I get the perspective that games could go on forever otherwise, but I don't really see the problem with that. These games mean so much, and this one in particular determines who keeps their season alive. Now, I can't speak for the athletes, but I would imagine the months of blood, sweat, and tears that was put into the season would feel cheapened if I got sent home in that fashion. The NFL needs to seriously consider changing this rule in the offseason because I don't want to see a quarterback duel like this one get shortened ever again. I'm Jake Brend, and that's my take. And that's going to do it for us this week. As always, we would like to thank Professor Siebert, Professor Carpinelli, and Professor Steffen for all the work they do behind the scenes to make this newscast possible. We'll be back next week, but until then, you stay classy, Simpson.